Okay, so the word pratyahara is basically it's not just withdrawal of the senses as usually in all your Google thing that has been described or translated. It's basically all the aharas that we intake. Is the beginning, the twist of, where things start changing for you if you take that seriously. So you see, you have control over your senses if you understand what it is.
Today we speak about Pratyahara, often touted as the forgotten limb of yoga. So let's find out why it is the most forgotten limb and what it means when we say withdrawal of the senses. So welcome back to today's episode where we speak about Pratyahara. Um, I was googling about Pratyahara, okay, and it said that it's the forgotten limb of yoga. So why is it called that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's basically this is where things start getting interesting in yoga. People usually keep oscillating between asana and pranayama, then they jump straight onto dhyana. So the first two are forgotten. The thing, yeah. Even the first two is usually skipped. They talk about yama and yama, but nobody does it. And then they do asana pranayama, and then they straight away they become yogis, meditative yogis. So so this is, even those who have been practicing for a long time, it's very difficult. Even if you say the word pratyahara, sometimes they don't understand it, and that's what people are not understanding. Yoga starts there actually. The first four is just a preparation towards it. Even pratyahara is a preparation, but at least it starts getting interesting from here. Okay, so the word pratyahara is basically it's not just withdrawal of the senses as usually in all your Google thing that has been described or translated. It's basically all the aharas that we intake. Ahara means is food. Now, food doesn't have to be just food, physical food. Yeah, it is anything that we ingest, anything that we partake, anything that we intake is food. Like we say, food for thought. We say food. What are you feeding your mind? These phrases are there, but nobody uses it in that context. We use language very casually, but I'm sure that language was also developed keeping all this in mind. So ahara means what you take in. So pratyahara, it's like basically to selective partake, selective ingesting. So even if you talk about withdrawal of the senses, it's like, it's a bit too it's nice to talk about it, but people do not understand. How do you withdraw your senses? What's that?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
What's that?
that is the question that even I have. When you say withdrawal of the senses, what does that mean? Like, how do you, I can't even imagine what that feels like.
Yes. So now the fact that we have five senses, okay, that's something also we forget. Okay, it's taken for granted, all these information. We have five sense organs that we don't remember, hands and eyes, and all these are organs. But we use it, but we never speak about it. What are they? Why are they doing what they're doing? So senses are there. You have sense organs. Now these are or the senses are what actually goes, explores outside and takes in information. It's a very outwardly factor in our lives. Okay, it's for the physical body. Now whatever that takes in is what the conscious mind, okay, uses to explore. Okay, as it is, the conscious mind is an explorer, is a risk taker, is a visionary. All that comes under conscious mind, which are the good. I'm talking about the good qualities. the adventurer, the risk taker, all these fancy words we have is the conscious mind. It's not the subconscious mind. So, because that is what it is meant to do. However, what happens is that, the sense organs don't, if it is not controlled or it's not guided properly. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita, we have Krishna talking about Krishna is the charioteer, and you have the five senses. The horses are the senses, and the charioteer is the one who holds the reins to these horses. So senses have been is equivalent to the horses. Okay, and unless there's something which reins in, okay, these horses, it will go wild. So now that is what is pratyahara. Okay, pratyahara is to, so if it's going all over the place, the first thing you need to do is like, bring it somewhere closer to your body. Forget about anything else, bring it closer to your body, even if it's your aura, even if something is around you, bring all the senses closer to your body first. So that's why they say withdraw the senses, stop like keeping your eyes closed, keeping your ears closed, keeping your mouth closed, all these, and keeping your hands in mudras. This gives you a sense of, control over your senses. So that is a first step towards any kind of meditative, the so-called meditative aspects of, of a life. When we talk about meditation, the first thing is you need to kind of have more control over your senses. And that is what pratyahara is there. And once you bring it closer to your body, okay, now once you bring it closer to your body, it becomes easier for you to start focusing it towards the inside of the body. Okay, so once you shut off all the external aspects, how the body is connecting to the external world, bring it closer to the body. That is why we talk about auras, we talk about chakras, we talk about breathing, pranayama, all these things. First you bring it closer to the body, and then you realize, okay, you are in a universe by yourself. Okay, you are the space, you are the time. It's not somewhere outside. What you carry with you is what everything else is. Everything is about that. So now once you bring it towards you, there is a bit more stability in your senses. Now the conscious mind becomes a bit more stable. Now it kind of says, okay, this is what I have. This is something interesting here as well. We don't have to go outside extremely. There's something inward as well. And then when you focus on your breath is when you start kind of actually feeling that, there is a whole universe inside us. So that is how slowly you progress towards withdrawing your sense, the so-called withdrawing your senses. Once you do that, then you can have selective exploration of the senses. So this is where the fasting comes in. This is where what you watch comes in. This is where what you listen to comes in. This thing, the modern thing that we keep talking about, watching the right things and saying the right things, all that. This is in pratyahara is where it comes in, to ensure that what you look at, the sense eyes that you look at, what you listen to, what you taste. So when you talk about fasting, it's not about going hungry or anything. Fasting is to selective taste in your mouth. And there's no harm in having all the taste in our mouth, the sour, the sweet, everything has to be had, because the body needs it. The body requires it and it needs it, because the nutrition is dependent on that. Yes, so the body needs it. We cannot say that we shouldn't be eating sweets, we shouldn't be eating The senses need all that for the body to get its nutrition. So, which means it's a selective good sense. When we control it, it's nourishing our body, it's nurturing your body. We are not reached the samadhi state. So we shouldn't kid ourselves, okay, about torturing ourselves. We cannot, because the more you torture your body, the further everything looks, because you feel more pain, you feel more discomfort in your body. And what is asana? Sthiram Sukham Asana. You need to have the ease in your body. So when you are torturing yourself, you can't be at ease with your body. So even fasting has got there is a way of fasting, okay, where you're not torturing yourself, but you are learning to kind of, be selective in the way you go about your eating, the way you go about on that particular, when you say fasting, it's not just about, stopping food. It's also about, how you think, what you're watching, what you're saying. So you say mantras, you say prayers, okay, what you, on those particular, for example, all the religions have it. For 40 days, you don't do this, you don't do that. It just basically withdrawing your senses a little bit. So when you withdraw your senses, the conscious mind gets more connected to the inside world, which will help you kind of progress and see things beyond our senses. Okay, so Pratyahara is the beginning, the twist of, where things start changing for you if you take that seriously. Because it's so confusing, that is why people skip it. Okay, it's, if you explain it like, basically like, okay, withdraw your senses, stop using your senses. How is it possible? We're human beings. We're here to, there's a reason why we've been, because it's if you remember, we had spoken about Sankhya philosophy, about the elements of the earth, okay, what the nature is and how we need to focus on the elements and bring those elements inward. Okay, so we are all connected. We can't be like the senses is not the problem. The problem is the mind, taking the senses to a crazy, it going all over the place. So if the senses are controlled, it's aligned with nature, it's aligned with the elements, you're fine. It's not disturbing your body or your spiritual ascension, or it's not kind of, taking you to weird places. So Pratyahara is extremely important. So if you understand how to kind of incorporate Pratyahara in your daily life, that will help you. So though Yama Niyama is telling you the guidelines as how you need to kind of, what you need to, the intention. Okay, Yama gives you the intention, and Yama gives you what you need to kind of basic daily chores that you have to do, or daily routines that you have to follow. Asana, what is asana? Asana, in Yoga Sutra, there's not even a mention of asana except for Sthiram Sukham Asanam. There's no other mention of asanas. What he says, Patanjali, is that your body has to be at ease. If it's not at ease, it's vritti. It is creating more trouble for you. So you have to be in a pose where you are comfortable and at ease. Then come pranayama. It's after that it comes pranayama. Pranayama is what? Energy. You need prana. Like, how do we start? Why are we alive? It's through this prana. So that means there is something more than us. There's some energy which is more than us. So when we are born, this energy comes into us. Okay, it triggers our existence in this world. That's why the child is, the moment it cries is when, okay, you know that the prana is gone in. Okay, and it's alive. Until then, it is not a part of the world. Okay, so the prana is important. So now you control your prana, how to retain your prana, how to retain this energy so that you can, the consciousness, okay, why are we doing, people can ask, why are we doing all this? Okay, what is the purpose of all this? It's because The mere consciousness has to become super consciousness. That is the whole the consciousness becomes a super consciousness. That is the purpose of our the whole 8 um, stages that we follow, and that is also the purpose of human life. Okay, so a consciousness comes in, and it is the body is given so that you use that body to become one with the super consciousness. So it's like seedlings. Okay, we're growing more conscious. We're adding to the super consciousness, but you can't be until you become that super consciousness. Okay, so that is why you've been given a body. So till pranayama, okay, this is what it is. So you're oscillating between this, the body, mind, body, breath. Not even the mind has reached anywhere, because you're still body, breath, body, breath, body, breath. And come pratyahara, there's a slight shift of focus. Now you have a body.
When you control your senses is when you're even open to the possibility of that there is something beyond it, because I think, like, because when you were speaking, in my mind I was comparing it to, let's say, if you're following a diet, you know what I mean? If you're dieting, and you've said, okay, no carbs or no sugar, after a while, you'll feel that it's harder to resist, and then there will be a crash where, all bets are off and you overeat. But if you had eaten the previous, let's say, even a week, and satisfied your cravings a little by little, then you wouldn't have that big, like a cheat day or whatever. I don't know what everyone calls it these days, where you overeat and overindulge, you know and also, like, when you get successful at dieting or holding yourself from hunger or tolerating hunger, whatever it is, you feel confident in yourself also, because there are a lot of people who cannot tolerate hunger, you know and they become hangry or they become upset, because the hunger is too much for them to bear. But once you start fasting, you get confident in yourself, that, okay, it's not a big deal if I don't eat, or if we have to wait to eat, it's not a big deal. You don't get unsettled.
Yes, yes. That's the beginning of Pratyahara, because that's when you understand. Okay, you can, but then when you make it, you put in religious things, and you make it. If you break your fast, you will, like, something bad will happen to you. All that. That's again putting horrible vrittis inside you. Putting thoughts which are like not conducive to your growth. So understanding why you fasting, okay, it's okay. Like, if you're thirsty, you've had a cup of, in case I'm saying, you shouldn't, if whatever religious belief everyone has, they should follow it. But what I'm saying is, to for people who are not into it, when they start getting into it, it should be like gentle. They can start slowly, they can just have it, but understanding why you're doing it. Because I really don't want the highs and lows of sugar. I don't want the highs and lows of overeating. I don't want the highs and lows of dieting. Okay, I just want something stable, which keeps me stable and also helps me. So now the focus again, it comes to the yama again. So that's where the intention is. What is your intention? Why are you fasting? Okay, so if you're fasting for weight loss, it will lead to frustration at some point, because you're focusing on something, and the moment you let go, you then start eating again. However, if you understand why you're doing it, you understand, okay, my senses can be a bit problematic, though it gives me a lot of pleasure, it gives me a lot of fun, happiness, joy, or whatever. Exactly. But you need to, it also can take you completely crazy. And then coming back from it is another task. Okay, so if we understand why we are doing it, why we are fasting, why we are dieting, if the intention is like, I want a bit more stable moods, it can start with as simple as something like that. Don't go into, weight loss and all that. But my moods need to be, my hormones need to be, a bit stable. Okay, I don't want to feel this rush in my life and then a low. I don't want to feel this way. So once you understand that, you will be a bit more that these are the senses that is working. And senses are mere senses. It's under your control. You can control it if you understand, but do not torture yourself. That's when the problem happens. So find a milder way of doing things which will actually help you, and it will not just help you physically, it will help you mentally, okay, emotionally. So these are the problems that we are facing today. Like all the senses are going all over the media, the kind of onslaught we have on our senses through visual effects, through smell, the kind of uh, variety of smells that we have today in this world, whether it's culinary or it's anything, that is there. Perfumes, ex- everywhere. Yeah, it's crazy. And then the kind of taste, culinary things that you have today, from sweet to sour to spicy to you are spoiled for choice. Okay, clothes. Okay, just imagine soft clothes that we have, the sensations that we have spa treatment, we have various kind of treatments that we can do on your skin. Okay, the feeling of touch, I mean, um, uh, this the sexual, this thing has become a bit more easy. Emotional PDAs have become easy when you watch things, okay, because senses remember. So even if you're watching something, you understand there's pleasure in your body. So that's why porn is so popular with men, because it's these are all senses, nothing else. And then at the end of the day, you don't feel good about any of those things. That is where the problem lies. It's not that those things are bad, showing that, oh, those things are bad for you, this, don't watch this, don't do this, it's like, sinful and they had to use those words, because only then people will not, otherwise people will not understand what's going on within them. So those things have been used, but if you understand, these are the problem areas that we have. These senses are what is creating problem. So what are the five senses we have? Understand that first. Okay, these are my five senses. Okay, what am I watching? Really, do I really want to watch this? Okay, people have become a bit more conscious. That's why now violence, whenever there is a video on it, there's a disclaimer and all that. Exactly, people are, but it's still too much of information and too much of visual onslaught on our eyes. Listening to it, what are we listening? We have, like, from violent noises to absolutely divine music. Okay, it's a choice that you have. You need to make those choices. Food also the same. Taste, what you wear, what you touch, what you associate with, all comes under the senses. So you see, you have control over your senses if you understand what it is. But if you don't understand, you'll still be like, I want to diet, I want to do this, I want to look good, I want to be rich, I want to be successful, I want. So we are confused.
And it's a slippery slope, because once that thought sits in your mind, it's very difficult to take it out, like an obsession. It becomes an obsession then. Like when you've banned yourself from doing something, you want to do it even more.
Yeah. So
you know uh,
addiction. Again, addiction
yeah,
is a part of is what Pratyahara helps you. So what is it?
yeah.
Why do we call it withdrawal symptom?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
when you're there, even in a what do you call that, retreat, the what do you call that, for
Rehabilitation.
rehabs that you
Mm.
people go to, what is it?
Mm.
So it's basically like, they check in there, and then they're given less of what they're addicted to, whatever it is. So
Mm.
less and less and less they
Mm.
give them, because you can't completely
Mm.
take them off it. So they
Mm. Mm.
keep reducing the quantity, and then slowly it takes a couple of months for them to be on a zero, into the
Mm.
zero consumption. So that is what it is. So withdrawing. So we have to first withdraw all these things for us to understand. That is where maybe the fasting comes in. That is where maybe you sit with yourself with your mudras and you close your eyes. And now Brahmari is the exercise. Brahmari and the is the exercise that we usually do for Pratyahara. Okay, keeping your fingers on your so
Yeah,
Shanmukha.
so you're physically blocking all your
Yes.
senses.
So Shanmukha Mudra with Brahmari. These are the two things that help the Pratyahara and very, very important exercise. So it's nice to do it at night. Okay. Brahmari is always nice to do it at night because that gives you a really good sleep. So to begin with, I don't want to confuse again by talking about Pratyahara too much that, people again get confused. What is this? So if you just understand this much, that you just need to withdraw, and because this will be when I talk about dharana, this we will bring pratyahara a little bit into it, to kind of differentiate. But if we just understand, like this much, like if you start just becoming aware that our senses are powerful. Okay, and the mind, the conscious mind is nothing without the senses. It cannot see, it has only energy, it's consciousness. So it is energy which will keep pushing you forward. So whatever if you learn to control the senses, okay, if you learn to understand, again I keep saying control, but but that's the word we have to use for everyone to understand, like the withdraw. So if you learn to understand your senses, okay, you will be helping your conscious mind to go for things that really matter, okay, rather than. So this can be used, I'm saying, okay, we're using it, we're talking on spiritual levels, but this can be used on a daily, for all your daily routines, your successes in the world. It doesn't have to be spiritual only. Spirituality is a consequence of being aware of your senses, being aware of the stillness in your body, being aware of your breath, having a healthy routine, having an intention which is like taking you forward. So this is a part of daily life. It's not that you have to become a saint. The problem is we think yoga has to be followed because we have to become a saint. If you're not becoming a saint, why are you doing yoga? I mean, you not understand. You can achieve all that you want, all the success that you want in your life through these steps. Okay, there's a reason why all these people carry the autobiography of Yogi as a Bible with them, most of the successful people. There's a reason they carry it, because that makes them believe in, what is possible. And that makes them believe that, it's all everything is, the limitation is within us, not outside ourselves. Okay, so the moment we withdraw our senses, again, I'm using the word withdraw our senses, or be selective about how we use our senses, anything that you do will be successful. It might have its pace, it might not go at the pace that you want, but there is no way. Intuitive power just increases. Okay, and because
Yeah,
of
that's a very beautiful way to explain it, like, or understand it rather, because it it's such a strong message when you say that the limitation is not outside, it's within you. It makes you not feel so helpless because you're in control of whatever's happening. If you're
that's
able to control your senses, I guess.
yeah, that's it. That's all it is all about. This is all that we need to convey, at least at this point of time, because I don't want to talk too much about Pratyahara and make it sound as if it's some very difficult process. But it is an extremely important, because that is where it begins. Okay, yoga begins here actually. The other things you can exercise, you can do whatever you want. Asana, you can do exercises that you're comfortable with. Breathing, you can sit and do breathing, a few breathing exercises. Yama and niyama is there in most of the religious scriptures, and it's there with parents. Parents give you that right from day one. How effectively it's implemented, it's different, but it is there. So the first four is there, even in schools it's there. Okay, it is there but in school nobody is teaching you how to withdraw your senses, how to kind of be more careful about your senses. That is when adolescent at that age they find a complete crazy life out there. So they feel it's like a door to freedom, and they go out and then they go and try and explore everything. Exactly, because we are not taught these things in school. The first four things are taught in school to a large extent. Okay. If somebody is like hyper, they'll say, okay, relax, breathe slow. If your physical exercise, sports, everything is there. Okay. Daily routines, it's there. Intention, what do you want to do? Do you know what you want to become in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time? So all that is taught in some vague forms, but it is taught. But then they're left, after that, they're left without any guidance. And after these four things, you're pushed into the world. Okay, now fly. Okay, and then you're completely confused because the freedom is too much. The freedom of adulthood is too much. Okay, that's why we had gurukulas, in the ancient times, where till 18 they were in the not till 18, I think, even in their till their 20s they used to live with their gurus. From the age of 10 to the age of 20, they would be with their gurus. Okay, and they would come out as potent warriors. They didn't come out as saints. They all came out as potent warriors first. Okay, they became warriors, and then from there, those who wanted to take whatever brahmacharya, do whatever they want, they went ahead and did it. But at 20, they were warriors. Whether it's a woman, it's a man, they were given that kind of education, which was not just numeracy and literacy and sciences, anything. They were given the art of using all their senses to their advantage, keeping in mind the betterment of society, of the world, of the environment, and ensuring that there are principles that we do not cross, the principles of nature that we do not cross, the attributes that are there, to be aware of the attributes and the elements of nature, and then incorporate all that in their next part of life, which is the domestic life. Okay, so that they
it's very nice how systematic it is. When you're young, you're not going to understand this. It's just when you're older, when you look back, you understand that, yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
It makes so much sense that they had a system in place
Yeah, totally.
for
Yeah.
transition, for the transition from childhood to adulthood.
Yeah. So that's it. So now today, boarding schools are there, but it's not, it's no longer, people don't find it safer or this thing to send the children. But those days, gurus themselves were like, highly evolved beings. So that's why I keep saying teachers are so important, and we need to ensure that we have a whole culture where teachers are given more importance and paid well and treated, well, and they should be the highest paid people in the
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
teachers.
Mm.
But but
Hopefully things will change.
yes,
Yeah, hopefully.
yes,
So, thank you for such an interesting episode. It was lovely to learn about Pratyahara in such a detailed way, and the message has definitely landed.
okay,
I think I understand it a
better now.
lot better. Yeah.
Great. one step at a time.
Yes, one step at a time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Yogue, Body and Mind podcast. If you like what you've just heard, please visit us on our website www.getyogue.com and follow us on all our social media platforms for more content just like this. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment any questions that you might have for us. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell icon so you never miss any of our future episodes. Thank you once again and see you next Wednesday.